Hello, my name's Vincent and I'm an addict. I was asked to do this share about 7 months ago, so I've been sharing for about 7 months. The obsession's gradually eased. I went to bed about 10:30 last night, fell asleep, woke up about 1 o'clock, sharehead kicked in. Anne-Marie asked me 7 months ago to do this share, and I said, I'd love to come and do a share for you. And she said, it's on the main stage. And I sat back and thought for it about a little while. I thought, fucking hell, oops. I said, I never ask anything to do a service for Narcotics Anonymous. I goes, but can you supply me a commode and a bleep machine? Because I'll be shit. And I bet, is it a warning? I have the occasion to swear a lot. Occasions. As it's a program of change, I try not to swear. But don't start me up. One too many, 1,000 never nothing. And strange, I was listening to, I forgot your name, Jason, and my friend done a share up here last year. I felt more nervous reading a card than I do now. God's honest truth, because I have to stick to what it says, and that terrifies me. Now I come up here, I only have to share my experience, and that don't really terrify me. I thought I was going to be absolutely cacking my pants sitting up here, and I want this room actually full up. I did say, Anne-Marie, you sure you don't want me to come on a Sunday? And I'll close the gate for you. I'll close it. Because I really believe I have a message. My first sponsor said to me, Vincent, you stay clean and you will have some message. And I apologise now. Well, it's not but I'm going to say things. It says look for the similarities and the difference, rather than the differences. I'm going to say things, and there might be only a couple of people and they might identify with that. But I ain't going to hold back from telling my story. Because I've shared my story before, and someone's come up to me and thought I was the only person. I thought I was the only person in this room with this thing wrong with me. And so a big thing for me is not feeling alone in Narcotics Anonymous. And so I'll try and share my story as honestly as I can, so someone might identify and get some hope and realise they're not the only person in this room. And so that's really powerful for me. And I'm sitting here today because I looked at it at the time. Someone took a liberty with me, and they 12-stepped me. and that's the God. And that's just not. They took a liberty. Who gets involved in someone else's drug use? And you don't do that. He's sitting up there. And I won't mention his name because he'll get all embarrassed. He'll start crying. He gets all emotional and all that. He's quite a feely person, but I won't mention his name. Feeling. But he got involved, he got me chucked out of my house. I come from a lovely little part of Hackney called Aggiston up the road. It was a very picturesque place. It is. I didn't even have to leave my off-street door. People would queue up outside my house so they wouldn't have to spend 20 pence on the phone, knowing the fella's going to turn up to Vincent's house at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I don't have to phone no one, I would just wait there for him. And people used to say to me, surprised police don't fucking put up outside your house and just nick them all. And that's how it was. So I've got 12 steps in here, and I got clean in Narcotics Anonymous in my friend's front room on the 29th of December 2006. So that makes me 9 years and 4 months clean. I'm very, very proud to say I got clean in Narcotics Anonymous. Very, very proud of that, and I'll always mention it just in case there's someone sitting there using. And I used to do about 19 meetings a week when I first got clean. Any fellowship, just to be around people, not be on my own. I mean, and then... But my heart was in Narcotics Anonymous, and that's where I got identification from, just a pure, simple reason that people use drugs. Even though when I got clean, you weren't like me, you didn't use like me, you didn't go to the places I went to. And it's funny, I nearly went out, I ripped my share down. No, I didn't really. You see people pull out pieces of paper and then people up there judging the life out of them. So I know you're going to judge me because I'll do it. But I hope you're gentle. I hope you're gentle with me and you're judging. No, I'm only trying. All right, so I've written a couple of things down here, right? The fella's sitting out there, right in the middle, right in my direction, right? Big black geezer, right back. His name's Mikey D, right? He's my sponsor. There he is. I gave him the privilege of sponsoring me. He phones me up regularly to get restored. And I'm not lying, he phones me up. Right, and when he heard I was sharing, he said, "What time are you sharing?" I said, 5 o'clock. He said, "You wouldn't believe it. I'm 10 years clean at 5 o'clock on Saturday." So he's 10 years clean now, right now. He said, "I'll give you a tenner if you mention me, £1 for each year." I said, "I want 20. I said, "You give me 20 quid, I'll mention you." I said, "I'll do it with you for nothing, all right?" Spiritual. Right, so you're done, Michael. That's you off the list. And I've got one more person. He got a mention. I don't know if he's more likely he has been mentioned in this convention, but we sat here last night and they put a few pictures up of him. And that's John O'Neill, the person who helped with the fundraising. He weren't even close to me, and I get emotional just. But I can remember doing a share in Shoreditch, and I first ever met him in Shoreditch, and I see him doing the fundraising for this. So I thought he needed to get a mention, just like all the rest of the convention committee need to get a mention. You all do great. And after this convention, you should take your hats off and... But I thought John should get a mention and that he was a big part of this. Right, so I've got another person down here, but I thought I'd put him in the share as it goes along, where he came into it, right? And so I got cleaning my friend's front room. But I'd start off with the drug use, and I apologise if people don't like hearing about drug use in here, right? You know, when you hear someone, "I'm going to do a drug-a-thon," I'm not going to do a drug-a-thon, they do half-hour share about drugs. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to mention my drug use just so someone new here, right, knows. Because someone said to me, I look like a librarian. Did you actually use drugs? Well, you look like a librarian. I said, well, I'm going to tell you my story, right, and you tell me afterwards if you think. Right. One of my qualities being right cheek. I love having a laugh in Narcotics Anonymous. This is deadly serious. I'm a deadly serious recovering addict. Okay, do not take that away. I'm very, very serious about what I do, but I try to have a laugh in recovery because there's some painful times in recovery where I need to know I have fun in recovery. And I'll give analogies so people might not identify with the thing, but they might get an idea. I started glue sniffing when I was 10 years old. The hallucination went on for 27 years. And I come out of it in the other, like smashed in a car crash, come through the windscreen and went, what happened there? I mean, sitting in a room with everyone and I'm in shock. And I heard people speaking about LSD last night and today. I thought, oh, they never glue sniffed before. Evo stick kicked the fuck out of LSD. Telling you that, mate. You pour a gallon of Evo stick in a dustbin liner, you get some fucking... I did. I started off 3 of us on a tube of glue, went up to a gallon tin nicked out of a wood factory, getting poured into carrier bags and dustbin liners, just sitting there, a 10-year-old kid. And I'll tell you, this is very, very, like, I look at my little nephews and that now, and I thought what I was doing at your age was terrible. I can remember when I was glue sniffing, and me and my friend were sitting on the canal in Aggiston, and I sat down, I had an old settee cushion, put it underneath me, and I started sniffing. And then my friend was sitting there, and I started going into it. Well, the cushion I was sitting on, I felt it. And as soon as I felt it, I started going into the hallucination. And the hallucination was that the ground was claiming me. It was trying to swallow me up. I started melting into the ground, and I got really scared, and I started screaming. And I was leaning on a thorn tree, thorn bush, whatever it was, and I grabbed, I can remember it like it was yesterday, I grabbed up like that, tried to hold onto the tree so the ground wouldn't swallow me up. And then I looked up and I saw blood pouring out of my hands, and the tree started to eat me. And then I was just terrified. My friends started slapping me around the face. So now he's in on the conspiracy with the tree and the ground. It was a conspiracy. That's when they're trying to kill me. I'm an 11-year-old kid. And I come out, and when I come out, he said, he goes, I was terrified. I didn't know what was happening. I was trying to slap you around the face to bring you out of it. And that's the things that happened to me when I glue sniffed. It was for a little boy like that to experience that amount of shock, because it's real. If you ever glue sniff, it's real. And to come out of that, and I used to walk down, I remember walking down the road days after, I didn't know if I was alive or dead. Imagine an 11-year-old kid walking down the road and he thinks he's in a parallel universe. Days later, thinking, am I actually here? And that's why I say that hallucination went on for 27 years. I come out of it with my right leg amputated, and my back, I got a scar down my back where my left lung, the bottom part of my left lung was cut away. And these things don't stop me using. I have a very, very powerful disease called addiction, what justifies and rationalises and will get me to use again. That's what my mind does. Justify, rationalise, I will act. And I was sitting in my bedroom with one leg, having images of myself as an old man, never to mix in society again. And I felt really scared and really lonely. And what happened, the next thought was, you know what? Injecting was a problem. Like, what we'll do, we'll go out and we'll smoke a bit of gear. And I had a sense of ease come over me. I went out in my wheelchair with one leg, got a bit of gear, came back to my house, looked for some foil. There was no foil in there. Looked for needles now, no needles in there. And I've asked my brother and sister, would you go over to the shop and buy me some foil? They're looking at me like, what is this lunatic? But I'll get angry that they won't go over to the shop for me. But I'll show you, I'll go over and buy my own tin foil. And I came back to the house, and what my mind told me I'll be getting out of my house and we won't inject no more was complete and utter lie. And I believed it. I sat in my bedroom for the next 6 years injecting everything I could get my hands on. And that's how I use drugs. So now, if you'd thought I didn't use drugs and I look pretty well, my addiction is like Jabba the Hutt. And poor Vincent looks like Tutankhamun. That's how I use drugs. And it says in the literature, we thought we had one problem, our drugs run out. When I've got a drug in my body, that is my only problem. I have no other problem. You could stick a gun in my mouth, that ain't a problem. My drugs are running out. I need more, I need to get more, I need to get them in me. That's all I was concerned of every second of every day, terrified. And then I come into recovery, I get clean. And these things I'll tell you now, I'm sitting in, I'm praying away. That's what I do. I pray. Because in one of our readings it says, we find we can no longer live with the use of drugs. And then we find then out there, I knew that bit, I couldn't use no more. I didn't know the second part, I've never ever been clean before. It says in there, we find we can no longer live without the use of drugs. And I needed to stay clean for a little while and experience. Living life without the use of drugs, for me, can be a lot scarier than the life using drugs. I am a total alien to this world without the use of drugs. I'm awkward, I'm self-obsessed, I'm oversensitive, I'm all these things, and I don't even know what's wrong with me. But it's about Lost Dreams Awaken. So I came into recovery, okay? I've got a sponsor, I'm very involved in H&I. I've got H&I T-Post. I've done H&I for I'm 9 years, 4 months clean. I've done H&I service for 9 years, 4 months without fail. Never gone, I've gone without 1 month, but I kept turning up and I've got another H&I post. So I'm very, very passionate about H&I, and I meet so many people by doing H&I. I absolutely love it. That's where it is for me. And I've got a T-post and another meeting. My home group is a Wednesday night basic tech study group, 7:30 in Weston-super-Mare. That's my own group. I've got a service post and another meeting. I'm making tea, 4 days clean. I've got a sponsor, 25 days clean. And I got involved. My friends started taking... when I stopped using, I was in my friend's house for 15 days. The day I was 15 days clean, he brought me to a dry house. And I'll tell you, I was driving along thinking I'm going to be left again. And I'll say this, I can remember when my mum took me to primary school when I was 4 years old and left me in primary school and walked away, and I thought, my mum's left me. Is she going to come back for me? I can remember that day when I was 4 years old. I'm 37 years old now. My friend brought me to a dry house. I went, you're going to come and pick me up? You're going to come and pick me up and take me... I was that 4-year-old little boy all over again. And it's the next day, I was 16 days clean. The next day, the first time out on the street on my own, I was walking down the road. I bumped into Dougie. And he went, wow, you look lost. I was lost. I've never walked down the street before in my life on my own clean. Never. I was that little boy all over again. And it was very, very scary for me. So Narcotics Anonymous has absolutely saved my life. And so I got involved with it. And what I'd done, I could see back then, I asked 3 people to sponsor me. The third person sponsored me, and he said, I've heard a little bit about you. It'd be a pleasure to sponsor you. And what I started to do, my thinking started to change. I met this person once a week, and what he told me to do, I'd go back a week later, and he said, have you been doing it? I said, yes, I've been doing it. And I wasn't lying to him. Everything what was said to be done, I started to do. And I've stayed clean. It's funny, the Just for Today reading was about acting out. When I use drugs, I'm not interested in the opposite sex. I'm interested if they've got drugs on them. Well, once their drugs are gone, I'm not interested. Get away from me. The next person, I need to take their drugs. So I wasn't interested in relationships. Or not even relationships, I wasn't interested in sex. Put the drugs down, something else pops up, and I become a nuisance. It was like I come out of prison after 27 years. You can imagine me coming out of prison after 27 years. I was a lunatic. People thought I had Tourette's in meetings. People thought I was just raging. I had one leg, I had all this stuff. Use all your body parts. And that's why I mentioned I've got one leg, because a boy came up to me one day sitting in a meeting. He said, I thought I was the only person in here with one leg. He said, it's good that you've got the courage to say that. Then I realised I'm not alone. So that's why I mentioned, at first it was for shock. I'll show you where I come from. But after it was for so people, like you might be sitting there and you might have amputees in any area. So you're not just the only amputee sitting in here. And I share other things where people don't feel so alone, but I'll try and get onto. When I got clean, I had a few nicknames, and one was Vince's Vulnerable Cabs, where men was not allowed in my car. I'd fit 5 women in my car, because I'm being nice. I'll show you, we've got to help each other here. Completely gone. I used to come to meetings with a blue rucksack full up with Viagra, cigarettes and tobacco, and walk away on meetings and say, that was a great meeting, that was. Clear that. I don't do that stuff anymore, so do not come up to me and ask me if I've got any Viagra for sale, which people have done. Yes, Johnny will have them. But thingy, this is where it gets on. I had no dreams when I used drugs. I did have a dream. When I was using drugs, I had a dream that maybe one day I could get a job in Afghanistan or Thailand in a heroin factory. I had that dream, and I wished, if I knew how to get out to Afghanistan, if I could get out of my bedroom and get out to Afghanistan, life would be like, oh, I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't have had a problem. And that's how I think. I remember Ralph said something. He said, what would you... If I could have sold my false leg, I would have sold my false leg to get a bit of gear. It was about a year and something, I met this girl. And it's funny, like when I was saying, when I used drugs, I've used drugs all my life, so when I used drugs, I never ever had a girlfriend. I remember when my 16th birthday, I was in the bath, going, yeah, having a scrub here, I'm going to go out tonight, I'm going to pull a bird and all this. I had a couple of joints, I got out of the bath, we went down the pub, taste a pint, oh, that's rotten that is. But after that first sip of alcohol, there was no thought of pulling any bird. I'd walk home on my own, lagging. And that's how I do. I use, and it's obsession overrides over everything else. The thought goes out the window. But so I met this girl, and we started dating. And what happened? We've got 2 daughters now, and I become a parent in recovery. I don't like using the words, she's my daughter, she's known nothing else except me, so she's my daughter, it's not my she's my daughter, and I'll become her dad. And then, that's what I say, you know, like, I have really joyous things, beautiful things, like dreams come true in recovery. When I ain't using drugs, things happen, and I have the most beautiful children in the world, the most beautiful partner in the world, and but with all this stuff, now I'm going into take the drugs away, it's a different ball game. With all this beautiful stuff, it can become very scary. It's not just about me no more, it's about other people. And my daughter Zoe, it was about swine flu time, and my daughter Zoe got swine flu, and it was one of the most terrifying experiences now. What I started experiencing looking after someone else. And a year later now, she got better. A year later now, Katie got pregnant, and then we had our daughter. And people say watching a baby being born is the most beautiful thing. For me, it was the most terrifying thing. Fucking terrifying it was. Because my daughter Gracie was in stress. She had the cord wrapped around her neck, so my partner had to have cesarean, so I was scared there. Then my partner had an allergic reaction to the drugs, terrified again. I think, what's going to happen? And so it wasn't the most. It was very, very scary for me. And then everything was all right. Came home, and I'm so glad, right, that when I first got clean, right. I went to my friend's house and I'd done something strange. He said to me, have you got any drugs on you? This was 2 days later, and I went to my coat pocket and I got a bottle of Valium out, and I handed him over. He's turned round, walked to the toilet. I've heard, shh. I've gone, no way. No way has he flushed my tablets down the toilet. You know what he's doing? He's just got to keep them at me, see if I need them. He's testing me. He went to bed that night, left me in the front room, didn't give me nothing. And I'm there, and I'm in his front room, and I looked up, and I had tears coming down my cheek. I've never felt so lonely and scared in my life. I looked up and went, please look after me, I'm going to kill myself, I'm going to use. My obsession to use left me that day. I didn't have the courage to tell people that, and I didn't have the courage. I'd started hearing other people saying similar things, and about 18 months I needed to start being a bit more honest about my recovery. So I pray. From that day, I'm so glad that I pray. I pray morning, I pray night, and the longer I've started praying, my faith has grown stronger, and I need this thing, God, higher power. I need it in my life to give me comfort. Take the drugs away. I need something. I'm 47 now. I need something to look after me. I need something. When I use a drug, I put a drug in my body goes, I feel comfort. Take that away. I need something to give me comfort. And what happened, and I'll share, what happened, I could go on for ages here, right? What happened, my baby Gracie, Katie come in, I got married, before it one time, I got married last September to my girlfriend. So I've got a girlfriend in recovery and I've got a wife. Amazing stuff. She speaks German, she speaks English, but when it hits my ears, it's German. When I speak, it's her ears, German. So we have to clarify things when we speak to each other, like. But my baby Gracie has got asthma, so she was taken to the doctors by Katie. And I always say, I look round, I can remember it's like it was yesterday. I look round, she's walked through the doors, and I see something was wrong. I said, what's wrong? And she said, Gracie's got a heart murmur. And my little world just collapsed. I looked at my daughter and I thought she's going to be taken away from me any second now. I have a thinking, 0's the best thing, 100's the worst. My thinking normally goes to 100. I got on the phone to the doctor, I said, could you, he said, I'll come back in the morning, we'll give her another check. We went back in the morning, he said, yeah, Gracie's got a heart murmur. And so I think my daughter's dying now. They said, we'll make a appointment with a specialist. I had to wait 4 months for this appointment. I'm so glad I pray. When I pray, it's no like I'm powerless over my addiction, my life becomes unmanageable. Well, for me, being clean, like I'm powerless over my thinking. I don't have to act on my thinking. When my thinking's inside me, it can terrorise me. Obsession. When my obsession's connected to a worry or fear, it kills me clean. Kills me. Take the drug, my mind will terrorise me. And I had to go 4 months thinking my baby's going to die. We went to the hospital and the doctor said, yeah, Gracie's got a heart murmur. It's called an innocent heart murmur. Loads of people have them. She'll be okay. She'll get on. I'm so glad I pray. Because you know what? I'm powerless over my addiction, powerless over my thinking. My internal condition becomes unmanageable. When I pray, and I do this stuff because it helps me live life without the use of drugs, my thinking comes into a more manageable state when my feelings become more manageable. My internal condition becomes more manageable and I can live life as normal as I can without the use of drugs. And this is my experience. This is why I do this stuff, because my mind will kill me without the use of drugs. When I hear recovering addicts want to kill themselves clean, I know there's something wrong. I'm more scared going insane and topping myself clean. I know I have a very, very powerful addiction, and I try to be as honest as I can. So when people come in, all the best things happen in the world when you're clean. But you have to live life. If you're an addict like me, I have to live life without the use of drugs, and it's scary. Can I finish on this? So I do this stuff. The gas meter has come to the London Convention. God came to me there. God came to me and said, Vince, you need to share about the gas meter. I moved into a flat when I was 8 months clean. I'm going to finish on this, right? NA is beautiful. It's given me a life beyond my wildest dreams. I was 8 months clean, and this is for people, right, who think these people are quite intelligent. I had to come up against things in recovery where I share these things so people with long-term addiction know that you're not alone. I moved into a flat, electric meter, gas meter. Electric meter had a key, I was fine. The gas meter came quarterly. I started to worry that I'm going to get into debt. So I got it changed over to a card meter. The meter come with £10 on it. Thursday morning now, this is 9 years ago, Thursday morning, it's run out. I went round the shop with a card. I said, could you put a tenner on there? The lady put a tenner on. I walked back to my flat, I opened the meter cupboard, I see a slot in the meter, pushed the card in the meter. I'm standing there for about 15 minutes looking at it. I see a red button and a black button. Do not touch them buttons, that's official use, you will break that machine. So I'm standing there for about 15 minutes, and what do I do? Not bend down, look at it and read, it's what do I do? So I went back to the shop with a card again, I said, excuse me, could you put another tenner on that? I think I owe it to the gas company. And she said, you got £10 on there though? I went, put it on there, and she went, cool. So I went back to the machine again, Put it in there. I stood there about 20 minutes looking at it. Then I done step 2, called someone who knows more than me. He's gone, Vince, I will charge you £30 call-out fee. I said, you get my gas working, I will pay you the 30 quid. He came round to my flat. He went straight to my boiler, took my boiler apart, because I didn't say a word to him. Took my boiler apart. He went, your boiler's fine. He went, where's your gas meter? I went outside. He went, where's your card? He took the card out. He pushed the card in there for a second, pressed the red button, and I had gas. I didn't know how to do that. Just like I have to ask someone to sponsor me. I don't know how to recover. I need to get direction from someone who knows how to recover. And that's what I did. I have no shame or embarrassment about saying the things I don't know. I'll do it still today. If I do not know, I'll say I don't know. And then you can show me what to do and I can do it. There was a bit more I wanted to go on about, but you put 5 minutes. Have I got any more time? Not really. Inconsiderate he is. But please, I do everything I can for my recovery. I have a beautiful wife. I have 2 beautiful children. I do some amazing things with my children, and I don't kill them. Most beautiful thing in the world, and they terrorise me. But it's been such a joy sitting there, sharing. I hope someone got something out of it, and I hope you have a great convention. Thank you.